Yeah, let them know.
But Globe and Mail, that's the Free Press anyways, isn't it? They're all owned by the same?
I don't know if Globe and Mail is owned by the Free Press, or
Or they're-
owned
Fox
by Free Press.
News?
Fox News. We're good, Debbie. Okay, we are now back to recording our meeting, so I will ask for a resolution to come out of camera, and I believe we have a few items to deal with before we go home, so if I could have that, please.
Resolved that as per section 154 of the Municipal Act, Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements does now resume sitting a regular meeting.
Mover, please. Councillor Strang, second Councillor Sutherland. All of those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so I think the one item that I don't think that we did a resolution for is the Interlake Ice Fishing Tournament, and I think that was a $300 cost to that one.
Correct, Madam Mayor. Resolved, Council authorize administration to send a letter stating the Arm of St. Clements will participate in the Interlake Ice Fishing Tournament for the month of February 2022, hosted by the Interlake Tourism and Anglers Atlas, creator of McCatch app-based tournaments, and will make a donation in the amount of $350 plus GST per subject.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Horvis. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next one we have is the Ludwig and Guns Creek change orders.
Resolved, Council authorize the Public Works Manager to sign contract works for the Ludwig and Guns Creek projects.
Moved by Councillor Sutherland, second by Councillor Bazarowicz. Any questions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And now we have a contract.
Resolved, consulting contract between the Arm of St. Clements and Sue Sutherland, contract be accepted and the mayor and the CAO be authorized, sign, and seal same.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Horvis seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Minsky, there's nothing to deal with today. East Selkirk Fire Department grass fire truck.
Resolved, Council authorize the repair to the East Selkirk Fire Department gas truck, fire truck, the amount, excuse me, the amount of $20,000 plus applicable taxes.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Bazarowicz seconds. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Just a quick question, if I may.
Sure.
Just, I mentioned earlier about these unforeseen expenses. Is this going to affect their next year's budget at all?
Shouldn't.
It depends where we end up, I think.
Well, he said no, because he said he was gonna try and deal
We're
with.
trying to address those in the current year's
I
budget.
know, but
We have capital projects that are generally, there are challenges for the entire fire department fleets because there are considerable,
well, there's risks.
there are risks mainly because there are fleet vehicles that are at end of life, and the money that's been set aside through the reserves will not be sufficient as we move forward.
Question
Go ahead, Rob.
for Councilor Horvis. What kind of a warranty would you get with what they're doing there?
For a new engine,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, I would think at least 6 months.
that's it.
Well, and you asked that question about it impacting their next year's budget. Like I know in the past, and I don't even know if it was with your expansion to the Narrow Fire Hall, like it never impacted, I know there were overruns there, and it never impacted your next year's budget.
I don't
So-
know. I can work on it anyway.
Well, so this wouldn't either, you know?
No, I just thinking if you're coming up short, you gotta make it up somewhere, that's all.
I thought
Well,
there was-
and I guess that is, you're right, but you gotta remember, we should
It's like
have
there's
some
only so much
extra
in the
money,
basket.
but we should have extra money this year because we haven't been doing a lot of the things that we normally do either. Like, we're just starting to attend meetings and get
Yeah.
mileage and things like that, so, you know,
We did have an overrun on grass fires too.
well, and that's, you know.
Unforeseen.
Yeah, unforeseen, so what are you gonna do about that, you know? I know our guys here were out last night for quite a while. I heard them go out, I don't know what time it was, around 8 o'clock last night again, so they've been they've been going up quite a bit, and I usually hear when they go, so.
We have had some staff saving costs
Yeah.
because certain positions haven't been filled for periods of time. We have various others. The situation will occur is the fire department budget that was allocated for capital and operating are probably gonna come in higher. And then we'll have to take a look at other budgets where we've come in lower, and a proposal we put forward to council on how to balance it for the year end. And then that allows us to move forward, and it shouldn't have any impact on future budgets.
But, remember before, when we had the meeting, you said about this, you're budgeting for this, and this, and this. And I said that I want to see the savings out of those, not that it gets all smeared into one that it's going there. If there's a saving at the end and it's so much, we should have that lump sum of money from this, and this. And then we deal with that money that we can put it towards something.
That's exactly what's gonna happen. We'll be showing you the savings, and then if there's any over expenditures due to unforeseen circumstances, those will be highlighted, and then we'll balance the budget, and council will make the decision where the money goes. And I'll recommend whether it goes to reserves or towards other things, and then council will decide. We have opportunities to deal with that, and that's where we'll have a discussion on the budget.
I know, but you had said before that the budget, you had created the budget that it flows for. There's so much in the budget, and out of that budget, you either do certain things, or you squeeze, or you ask your managers to do all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
But in this case, there's no squeezing here. We're over budget.
In this case,
So Peter has to pay Paul.
in this case, there's no real squeezing available because what we have is just operational costs for our volunteer firefighters, and we have capital costs, and the capital budget is different than the operating. Council has the authority to take some of the operating to put towards capital. And if you decide not to do that, then we can, you know, reallocate future capitals, but that's where.
But how can you not do the fan thing? Like, it's all, like, all this stuff that's nowadays, like, it's when you give back to these garbage places where you're gonna have to build a facility, to have a washroom and an air conditioning and all this stuff. That's big money. That's big infrastructure for stuff that's just.
Well, that's how we built the public workshop, we couldn't meet the birth.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, it's.
Good question, but the public works, all those were identified as part of the 2021
Yeah,
budget.
no, I'm just.
And they're getting done, and if they weren't, but at that end of the day, those are add-ons as part of what council had decided to be able to put as add-ons based on those budget items, those requests. Some of them come in because we will have requests such as the Baconia well, which was orders given to us by conservation to be able to fix something, so we had to invest money in. The other was related to workplace health and safety.
We had budgeted for the Baconia, I think 20,000.
Correct, and so we're gonna be coming in a little bit less than that.
Yeah.
And so there's those kinds of scenarios, but it wasn't anticipated in 2019 or 2020.
No,
It became as a 2021 budget item out of a requirement from Manitoba Conservation in 2020 to us. Same thing with the health and safety. So that's where council then takes a look, and like I said, when we have a consistent budget, then you say, well, I want to see a 10% savings. That 10% savings gives council that level of flexibility as opposed to having to make a decision at the end of the year saying, we're going into a deficit situation, where do we draw upon?
Yeah, because it's every year, it's 2% increase, 2% increase on everything. Wages, everything. And it'll be more these coming years. So, like, and we're increased the taxes, right? So, what really bothered me before was that our tax base at St. Andrews was lower than us. Like, that was a shocker for me.
Well, I think
You mean our mill rate?
Yeah.
probably when Deepak goes over the financials at our next committee meeting, maybe it'll look a little bit better and it'll look not as bad as we think it is, so.
Well, I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. It's just that I don't want to see all that money just get spent. Exactly.
Okay, can we move on? We're getting kind of close to the end here, so I think we all
Sure.
see what you're saying, and I don't disagree that you'd sooner see if we can have some of that money saved for a rainy day kind of, so,
Well, somewhere,
yeah.
like, put in that, fire,
Reserve.
fund,
Reserve.
that we're not, yeah, in that reserve, that we're not doing this all the time. Because when we started back here, our reserves were bankrupt,
Yeah,
Agreed, and that's
You know?
because you were
yeah.
coming in below, or the budget was so tight by the time that you came to the year end, unforeseen circumstances caused you to go to your reserves, your rainy day funds, for lack of better words.
But a lot of things have improved. We sold that land up there, other things are happening, like you said before, people are moving in here, taxes and all that kind of stuff.
We think
I
that
just don't want to
supplemental
lose
tax.
sight of that, that's
No.
all.
And I think it's up to council to decide on what kind of increase that you want to do in 2022, so we'll go through that process. So-
okay, we have just a couple of resolutions left, I believe.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Resolved, council approved the memorandum of understanding dated October 26, 2021 with the Canadian Polish Athletic Club for the purpose of lot boundary realignments as presented, and that the mayor and the CEO be authorized to sign and seal same.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horbis, second. Counselor Bazarowicz, discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Go ahead, Scott.
Deepak, were you gonna craft something for that silica sand thing?
Oh,
Yeah, there
yes.
is one crafted.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. We just saw you move into adjournment there, so.
I did.
He missed
I
it.
didn't refresh my screen. Brett's very, very efficient. Resolved, council authorized administration to look into silica sand mining operation in Springfield and bring further information to a future council meeting.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Strang, second. Counselor Spicer, discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And we have nothing else that we want to discuss this evening, so I will call for the adjournment. Don't be turning that page. Well, ask for the adjournment resolution, please.
Gotta be something, discuss.
Put the air conditioning on.
Resolved, this meeting of council be adjourned at 8:23 p.m., August 26, 2021.
That would be October 26th.
October 26th.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Boulanger, Counselor Horbis, seconds. All those in favor?
I'm not in favor.
Opposed? And that is carried.
Just like everybody being waxed.
Yeah. Vaccinated. It's the Ukrainian term.
Yeah.
They can't say their V's very well. I bought a nice
Miami
man.
blood, I think one of the most paid.
Okay.
So I feel like I sent it on both emails, but.
So
Oh, yeah.
I think we covered a lot.